Hi, Passionators. I haven't talked to you guys in a while, and I'm trying to take advantage of the sun while it's still shining. But don't be fooled, this is still Chicago and it is still cold. So, even in all this bright, beautiful sunshine, yeah, that's why you see this big coat. So, I'll just give you guys a minute to get on in. I've missed you. I've been uh, getting my iron sharpened for you so I can continue to expand. Hi, Kenny. Good to see you. Uh, I'm in a process just like everybody else is, and I'm more. Hi, Rick. Byron, OMG, from the land where the weather actually makes sense. How you doing, dude? I was at a conference this weekend, so I've been out of touch. That's why I'm here now. I've got a few minutes before I go check out Logan. So I thought, in the name of all things good multitasking, I would just stop by and holler at you all while I'm here and taking advantage of this sunshine. Um, but the topic that I decided to focus on, at least for right now, is about how, or the reason why you don't really have the relationship that you want. There is a real popular topic of conversation, especially since so many people have this idea that they can have whatever they want. Yeah, that's the media. You can have whatever you want, especially if you think about it long enough, if you concentrate on it, if you focus on it, if you do that Vulcan mind meld thing, and you can just will it into existence. And when you ask most people, hi Nadine, send me some of that 70 degrees, would you please? But people think a lot of times that they can have whatever they want because it's available. And those really are two different things. Just because it's available doesn't mean you can have it. Just like a lot of people believe that you attract what you are, and there's a lot more to it than that. That's only partly true. And it makes sense on the surface, so it's easy to just take it and run with it. But there's really only four kinds of things that you actually can have, right? So the first one is whatever you create. You can have the kind of relationship that you're willing to create. You can have the relationship that you accommodate. You can have the relationship that you negotiate. That's about it. What you create, what you accommodate, or what you negotiate. And the foundation of all three of those things is you can have the relationship that you are willing to do the work to acquire. That's it. Doesn't really have a whole lot to do with what you actually think you want. It has everything to do with what you are actually a complement to, what you are compatible with, what you are in harmony with. For example, if you want a relationship with a premium quality person, this person is already quite content with their life the way it is. This is a person who has an idea for what they want their lives to look like in the next 6 months, in the next year, in the next 5 years. They have already determined what the mission of their life is about. And while they may not have all the nuts and bolts worked out of how they're going to make that happen, they do have a sense of direction and they have a sense of purpose for how they intend to live their lives. So if that is what I'm going to define as a premium quality person, and I'm talking to someone who has a laundry list of things that they want in a mate. Everything from she's got to look like this to he's got to have that to they've got to be whatever. And there is a laundry list of those things. The disconnect comes in when the laundry list of what you want isn't compatible with who you are. That's a big blow to the ego for a lot of people, because they want a lot of stuff that they're just not compatible with. If you want a health and fitness fanatic, and you don't care about how you eat, or you live a sedentary lifestyle, you aren't compatible. You can want it all day long. You can mantra it until you change colors, and it won't happen for you. They could be standing right in front of you and walk right past you. And it doesn't matter how fabulous you believe you are. And you may actually be that fabulous. But you're not fabulous in a way that's compatible with what you keep saying that you want. Here's another reason why a lot of you don't have the relationship that you want. Because you're still hung up on not having it. You're still talking about all the times you tried it and it didn't work out. Whether you were the one that blew it or your partner was the one that blew it. You're still hung up on it. How do we know you're hung up on it? Because it's a mainstay of your conversation about relationships. If I ask you about how you see relationships, how you feel about love, how you picture your future as far as your relationships go, you launch into a history of everything that went wrong, or how everyone did you wrong, or how nobody is interested anymore. There aren't any good men left. There aren't any good women left. The women outnumber men everywhere I am. What else? Well, where are all the good men and all the good women? Like, there's some magical room someplace where where all the good relationship options are hiding from you. And that's not how it's happening. They are everywhere. They're everywhere. And you'll usually find that out if you actually just talk to people. But you also have to understand that most of the people that you're attracted to won't be compatible with you. Stop trying to confuse attraction with compatibility. I know I've said this before, and I'm going to say it again, because people keep making that mistake. You believe that everybody you're attracted to is supposed to be compatible with you, and then you get mad when they're not. It's like you have this notion that you're supposed to have hundreds of viable options to choose from, and you only want one, mind you. You only want one out of this whole pile of hundreds of viable options that you're supposed to choose from. You want one, but you want the rest of them to still be wishing that they were the ones you picked. Seriously? Seriously. The fact is, the truth is, most people you meet, even the ones that you're attracted to, here's the rub, and many of the ones you get into relationships with are not compatible to share their lives with you. Attraction and compatibility are two entirely different things. The happiest relationships occur when you can have those two things in the same person. That's what you see in all those people that you admire, who have relationships that you believe you want your relationship to be like. They are actually attracted to someone who is compatible with what they want for their lives. Here is a good thing to remember about compatibility. It is not static. What do I mean by that? I mean that just because you are compatible now doesn't mean you always will be. That's what I mean. I'm running out of power, folks. Sorry. I just got the big nasty warning. My battery is low. And it looks like the sun's trying to go down on me too. But thank you, Avery. I appreciate that. I'm trying to be useful here. I've got a little bit of time with you right now, but I really am trying to be useful. Alyssa, so happy to see you. Detrice, Ebony, Latricia, hi. Thanks for coming in. And if you have anything you want to add, please do. But I just want to remind you of these things because they're basic and they happen in every relationship and they're not avoidable. But when you make better choices based on things that actually do last, that actually do keep people together, you will get different results. Here's something that I saw today that reminded me of this. That's why I'm talking about it. I was reading a dating profile that was, oddly enough, written by a man who launched into under the section where it asks, what are you looking for in a woman? Pretty basic question. And he said, well, I'm tired of playing games. I'm sick of people lying to me. If you don't want to be involved in a serious relationship, then don't even contact me. I am only interested in women who are not game players and who are not gold diggers. So I'll put this out here for you. What kind of woman is going to read that and think to herself, I can't wait to get me some of that? What woman is compatible with a description like that? What woman is going to see that as a welcome sign for her to walk into a life that she's been wanting, that she's been dreaming of, that she's been planning for? When you focus on what you don't want, you are guaranteed to attract more of it. It's just like the mistake I see a lot of women making, where it's, I don't want any players, I don't want any pimps, I don't want any playboys, none of that. It's like, if you playing, don't even contact me. That is a welcome mat for everyone who is trying to manipulate you. You have just hung up the sign that says, abuse me please, waste my time, make me believe what's never going to happen, blow me up, try your manipulation skills on me. That's what that kind of stuff says. And that's why you continue to bring those sorts of people into your life, not just because they're attracted to you, not even just because there are probably more of them than of the kinds of people that you claim you want, but because you keep allowing them access to you. Here's a news flash. Everybody that thinks they want access to you, you don't have to grant them access. Just because they ask to see you or because they ask to speak to you doesn't mean that you have to do that. I would probably, some of you would probably be kind of nervous if you saw the kinds of private messages that I get. And the invitations, if you can call them that. Because people feel entitled to my time or attention because they've seen me here. It's one of the drawbacks of social media. It makes people believe that they are actually closer to you than they actually are. But the fact is, until you actually put in the effort to make a real relationship with an actual person and not just an image on the screen, what you have is a fantasy relationship. It's all a fantasy. And fantasy isn't a bad thing if fantasy is what you want. Just be clear about what it is and stop calling it what it's not. Don't assign meanings to things that don't belong. Anything that you built largely online is mostly fantasy. Doesn't mean the feelings aren't real. Just means the relationship is incomplete. And until you complete the relationship, it's a fantasy. Completing means you actually are in each other's presence long enough to determine whether you're compatible to build a life together. That's what completion is. Whether or not that includes sex is up to you. But completion means you have made a determination as to whether or not you're compatible to share your lives with each other. And you cannot do that through text messages. Can't do it through Facebook Live either. You can't do it on Tinder. People are going out of their way to try not to be connected and to still have the benefit of being connected. And I just came to remind you that it does not work that way. There is no shortcut to intimacy. Technology will not substitute. At best, it can only be an enhancement. Thank you so much, Joy. At best, it can only be an enhancement. And sometimes it can be a tremendous enhancement depending on what your situation is. Because some people, let's face it, they have jobs or responsibilities that may take them away from you for days at a time. Heaven help you if you got a military spouse, then they could be gone months or even years at a time. And at that point, technology is what's holding you together. Technology is what keeps some kind of a connection alive between the two of you as time goes on. And if you use it well, use it strategically and make the most out of it every opportunity you get, it could actually be the thing that keeps you together once your spouse returns. It could very well do that. However, even in that extreme situation, it is never a substitute. The only reason why they're using technology to stay together is because they can't be together, not because they don't want to be together. And there are a whole lot of people on social media and on the internet generally who will pretend that they want to be with you. They'll make a whole lot of noises about how much they'd like to be with you, how they prefer to be with you, and OMG, you are just everything in the world that I ever thought I wanted in a partner, and oh my goodness, if I just lived closer to you. It be you and me, boo. No. That's not what's happening. What's happening is that's a person who wants the fantasy. They want the benefit of intimate connection without actually having to do the work. Because sometimes it requires a lot of work. Not because it takes a lot of effort, but because making the right effort could rewrite your entire life. It may require that you relocate. If that person is really who you believe you're supposed to spend your life with and they're in another state, relocating is a major upheaval. Especially if children are involved. And at that point, that's a major decision for you to make. It's not a lot of decisions. It's just a couple of really major ones. So it's not a lot of effort. It's just a major effort. And you're the one who has to decide whether or not the effort is actually worth it. Nobody can make that determination for you. But if you make the decision to do it, and then you have other things to work out, just understand that it's not because you made the wrong decision. It's just because relationships require cooperation, collaboration, compromise, compassion, understanding, patience, listening, loving. That's required in any relationship. Anyone. And if you're waiting for the relationship that gives you everything you want while you do virtually nothing, good luck with that. Good luck with that. And for those of you who believe that you're actually doing your mate some kind of favor by being with them, Good luck maintaining that relationship. I'll set my clock over here, and I'm willing to bet my clock will go off a lot. My clock is going to go off, and when it does, your relationship will be long over, because you cannot maintain a happy, intimate connection that way. When you have this superior attitude going in. Here's something that's another popular thing to say. They're so lucky to have you. That's a setup, people. That's a setup. Sounds good on a Hallmark card, but it's a setup for disaster if you actually believe that. Not because you aren't amazing, not because you aren't a great partner. You may be all of those things. But you are not a favor. You are not a prize. You are a person, like your mate is a person. And if the two of you can actually be an effective team, the world is yours. Yours. Teamwork really does make the dream work. I know it's a cliche, but that doesn't mean it's not true. It is true. But you have to be a team. You can't be in charge. You can't be right. They can't be wrong. You can't be a doormat. You have to be teammates. You have to be life mates. You have to be playmates and passion mates. You have to be all of those. Mate being the key word for a reason. You cannot be a mate with someone who is not your equal. And equal, by the way, does not mean same. It means equivalent value. 4 plus 3 equals the same thing as 5 plus 2. They are not the same. Each of them is a unique expression of separate numerical values. When combined, equal the same amount. They are not the same. They are equivalent in value. The same is true of your relationship partners. Denise, oh my God, it's been a lifetime since I've seen you. I love you, girl. Denise and I went to college together. That's a whole other story, y'all. I'm sorry, I digress. I just want to leave you with something that's usable, something to remember. Your mate isn't a prize, and neither are you. You're two people who have joined together for a purpose that neither of you could achieve on your own. That's all. That's as good as it gets. But here's the good news. That's all you need. That's all you need to be in absolute bliss. That is all you need. So don't complicate it. Stop making it more difficult than it actually is, because it's really not. Love is what we are built to do. It's what our hearts are built to do. It's what our lives are built to accommodate. It's what we are here for. We can do this. We really can. That's why we keep trying. Even those of us who complain about it all the way, we still keep trying. I hear women complaining about men all day that have a new date that night. I hear men complaining about women for weeks. They'll come to my page to complain about women and have a date that night. That's why we still keep trying. Because after all that's said and done, after you get past all the bluster, after you get past all the media, after you get past all the hype, after you get past people trying to be right and trying to be better and trying to stroke their endless, bottomless, perpetually hungry egos, what you get to is that people are built to love each other. We are built to connect. And that's why we keep trying to connect. How successful that connection is depends entirely on the people involved, not on the statistics about relationships. You are your own statistics. Well, that's all I have for right now, people. I got a movie to go see. I'll tell you how I feel about Logan after I check it out. But thanks for stopping by. And if there's anything you want to talk about later, just let me know. I'll be checking out your comments later on, not right now. But thanks again for stopping by. And share this video if you think it'll be helpful to other people, because that really is the only reason I make them. Thank you again. I love you totally. Bye-bye.